clear. Coming through Geocache Talk, a voice on the line I hear. Coming through Geocache Talk.
Embark on a breathtaking 12-night journey through Scandinavia with the Worldwide Cache Cruise, starting from the enchanting city of Amsterdam. With the Worldwide Cache Cruise, we are not just taking a vacation. We are geocaching and collecting experiences that will last a lifetime.
A stunning symbol of adventure, community, and storytelling. Its bold design shines with vibrant colors and a cool retro look. It's more than just a coin. It's a badge of geocaching passion. You can be part of the journey by supporting Geocache Talk on Patreon. Your patronage helps create inspiring shows, grow the community, and keep the adventure going. Join the network at patreon.com/geocachetalk.
Have you subscribed to FTF Magazine yet? FTF Magazine is the #1 geocaching magazine available. It is a quarterly magazine that you can be part of. Subscribing is easy. Just visit FTF's website, ftfgeo.com. Don't miss out and subscribe today.
Calling all geocachers. At artedcrafted.com, we create unique apparel designed by geocachers for geocachers. From custom t-shirts to personalized mugs, our gear lets you express your passion. Stand out at your next event with artedcrafted.com. artedcrafted.com. Gear up for your next geocaching adventure.
Big thanks to our new patrons, Gundark 2000, Nesmuk, LabGal13, Joe Bids, Reese 486, Hada 25, Waymaker Jan, Rob S72, and Lost and Found 28. Thank you to all our new patrons, and really to all our patrons, for keeping this show and all of our shows on the air, because they pay. They're the ones that make it happen.
That's true.
They pay the bills for us. We appreciate that. Well, we got a huge show tonight, so let me drag in these two guys.
Hey,
There they are, back from the Caribbean or Caribbean, depending on how you want to say it.
Yeah, like
Memphis
just
Mafia.
got home today. Still have sand in my slides.
man, I'm just so glad you survived the Bermuda Triangle.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Like, people were reaching out and they're like, "So Jesse really is in the Bermuda Triangle?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Is he coming back?" And I was like, "I hope."
You know, when I was growing up, I really thought that was a really deadly place, and I thought that and quicksand were going to be a lot bigger part of my adult life, and they have not been. There's really neither one of those have really been an issue. So yeah, we just got back today. So earlier today we got back. So now I kind of wish I was, still on the ship, but
Sure.
yeah, we're back. Had a great trip. We'll get to that at some point, but
Yep.
happy to be back. Also, officially got voted the best dad ever.
Dad ever.
Whoa, congratulations.
And, so all of you others out there, happy Father's Day, but you're all running for second place or less. So just telling you, I got the official shirt. It counts.
Playing for second place, I guess.
Nobody else can have it.
Okay.
But no, all joking aside, happy Father's Day to everybody out there, and either who are fathers or have fathers, and
Absolutely.
I might be a little bit in the doghouse for doing a show on Father's Day, but that's okay. It is what it is. We'll do it anyway.
Yeah, Father's Day is sort of the show. Usually is kind of when people are getting ready for the next day. So, but also Pizza Ninja with us tonight, John.
Yeah, great to be here with you guys.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Father's Day. I agree with you. We're doing it on Father's Day. You and I both might be in the doghouse a little bit, but I have met Jesse's dad, and he is a cool dude.
He's a really cool dude.
I love your dad. He cracks me up. I love talking to your dad. I really do.
Yeah. He's a good guy for sure.
He is a good guy. I love
and a
hearing
geocacher. So.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I mean, there's a lot of people I'd like to sit and just like listen, like tell me stories, and your dad's one of them.
Mm-hmm. He's got a lot of it's one of those things too. Like obviously I've known him my whole life or whatever, but
sure.
he and not to get us sidetracked, but it's Father's Day, so it's okay.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, my brother and I got a present for him for Father's Day, and the present was this service. And I'd have to give you, if anybody's interested, I'd give you the information on it. But it sets it up to where he gets a question once a week, and he answers and writes a story based on that question once a week. So at the end of it, we had 52 stories, and then got it bound up into a book. And they create the book. It's a nice hardcover book and everything, and a couple pictures in it, but it's not a picture book, right? There's just maybe 5 or 6 photos in it. But
I understand.
there were stories in there I'd never heard before, and there's stories that I remember differently, and there were stories that I wasn't even alive for. And that is probably one of the coolest. I mean, it was a present for him, but it's really more a present for us, right?
Sure.
I've got those stories, and so if nobody's ever heard of that service before, Google it. I don't know the name of it. It's out there. It's not hard to find.
That's cool.
But we're not getting paid for that advertisement, so y'all can Google that on your own.
Nope.
But that is a precious and valuable thing. And just like you said, those stories, he's got hilarious stories that you're like, I can't believe this is even true, but they're true stories. They're at least true as he remembers them anyway, right? So that's a great thing. So yeah, he is one that truly has those good stories too.
Awesome. Yep. All right. Well, let's get started, and let's start with this. I'm going to add another item, but John, get us started, and I'm going to put something at the bottom. So go ahead and do that, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. So in news this week, we got a few items. One of them is geocoins for Team D&D. So most people know Team D&D as D and David, who are just awesome members of our geocaching community. Unfortunately, they lost their home as a result of a tornado during Geo Woodstock 2024. The good news is they moved into their home, so that's awesome. But there's still some expenses they're still incurring. So I mean, there's a great opportunity to help them out. If Ryan Simmel's in the chat room, feel free to drop the information, Ryan. But there's a coin that people can get that will go to helping D and David. I know I just ordered 2, and it's just $25 with shipping on that one. So, the one thing, we'll get that information out there, but, please consider helping them, because they have just done such incredible things for the geocaching community. And we all know part of the geocaching community is we all help them out. Okay. And Ryan is here. Yeah, Ryan, if you don't mind sharing the information, how people should get those coins to help support D and David, that would be pretty cool, man.
Yeah, I
really appreciate that.
The official stat is they're responsible for at least 20% of the megas every year. So I looked it up. I think it's true. So they contribute a lot to the community.
Well, and that's awesome, because I mean, for everything that they've given over the years, I mean, we all know geocaching only exists because of people in their generosity and their kindness doing things. As far as I know, nobody's getting paid to hide caches or to put together events on that one.
Wait, y'all aren't getting paid for this?
Not unless you're in Germany.
Right?
Yeah, that's true. Somebody is getting paid over there. So
you haven't gotten. I've been sending a check every week, Jesse. You've not been.
Oh yeah, I cash mine all the time.
Somebody's been cashing it. Maybe Christy. Maybe the CFO.
I'm hoping one day they don't bounce, but yeah.
Before we do some more news, I do want to mention something real quick, because we have some special rules for tonight. And Direwolf has already spent his one trackable that he has shared in the chat room. We will not be bringing that trackable up on the screen, but if you want to share a trackable, you can, but you can only do one. I know somebody out there who was like, oh, can I do like, I don't know, 20 or 30? I was like, no, you can't do 20 or 30 trackables. But I love trackables. I said, I know you love trackables. That's fine. I'm glad you love them. But tonight is not a trackable show. Tonight is about the obsession behind the trackable.
It's not a code show. Yeah.
It's not a code show. It's about the obsession around the codes.
And
could you imagine what that show would be? Okay, audio listeners, here's another code for us to read off.
Yeah, exactly.
It would be popular among certain groups.
True. I can see that.
But, and I think we'll get around to why we're doing that later. We'll talk about that too, right?
We will. Direwolf attempted to do another one, which is the Van Halen trackable. I should also mention. Oh, he said just kidding. Yeah, I know. That's the name of the album.
Yeah.
But Direwolf, I do want to mention to you that, and all the others out there, that we do have a nice little button that will put you in timeout, and you can no longer post anything in the chat room. And if you really get nasty, we just throw you out completely. We'll toss you out. I got a bouncer in here that'll take care of that. So, anyway.
Well, and there's a reason for that, right? It's somebody's property, and we're not going to get into the code part of it really, but it is somebody's something they spent money on. And if we're ever going to get flagged by HQ and get into HQ jail, it would be a show about Trackable where people were sharing all the codes and stuff. So we kind of talked about that last time. We had a scare before where we thought, we're going to be in trouble. I think that was last week we talked. Yeah, it was last week. That was one of the few times we thought, that's an easy one to get flagged and get us in trouble. And in the doghouse, that's not what this show was about.
Ooh.
Oh gosh!
Can you make Flat Jesse a trackable? No, that's your answer.
Gary's answer is no. My answer is it could happen. Just saying,
it could, but
Jesse's answer is cut it out, guys.
Yeah. Okay, back to the news. We got some more news to go.
Yeah, so just going through, and Ryan chatted, and he said he's here. He's working on the link. So for the D and David coins. So once we have that, guys, we'll get the word out on that one.
Cool.
A piece of news I know I absolutely love on here, guys. I don't know if you know, we have new treasures that were released on June 10th.
Yes.
So we have now event mementos and then planets as well too. So I can tell Gary you're thrilled because I know you love treasures a little bit less than I do. Just saying on that one, but
hold on, wait. Before you answer, Gary, vote on this: treasures or souvenirs. Which one's better for you, treasures or souvenirs?
Oh, there's no question. Souvenirs are better.
Oh,
treasures.
I'd like treasures over souvenirs.
Treasures, yeah.
They moved up for me. I'm starting to like them a little bit now.
We're gonna do an updated show. We'll do an updated show.
Yeah. Okay, you're right. All right.
I'm really excited to get the catch-up packet souvenir or the treasure. I'm really looking forward to it. I think I'm going to be able to get it. The extra napkin. I'm really looking forward to the extra napkin treasure.
Yeah, Jesse, I think this is one maybe you and I really agree on. On this.
I'm getting there. You're more ahead than I am, but now.
All right.
Wait, let's go back because we'll
Keep
talk
going.
about this.
We got too much to do tonight.
So anyway, check out geocaching.com for more information on those treasures. Yeah, and get them all. But one thing, guys, to have in your radar too, if you don't, the June solstice souvenir, you can get that between June 20th and June 22nd. And for getting this, you just have to find and log any geocache event, Adventure Lab location. So any three of those will do it.
So just cash it all.
Yeah. Cash everything, man. Get those souvenirs, get those treasures.
Man.
Have you noticed that now if you look on the app on your phone, if you use Cashly, I think you see it also on the on the website, but you can do upcoming upcoming souvenirs. Got me talking about trackables already. Upcoming souvenirs. Did y'all see that?
Yeah.
There's now a link.
It's on the website, I know.
It's on the website. Yeah, you're right. So if you click on it, you'll see upcoming, which is kind of cool to see what's upcoming. I think that's really a new little tab.
They are advancing this. I'd say quickly.
Yeah.
It's definitely faster than the speed of where I go, but that's a whole different conversation.
that is a whole different show.
I was going to say, what isn't faster than the speed of where I go?
I know you're right. Okay.
I mean,
but we're talking about trackables. Yes, the treasures, and we're going to talk about those again because they are updating. I think that is something that's changing in geocaching, which it's a game that doesn't change a lot. So,
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'll just bring up the interface here quick for folks on here. So on this one, you can see your active and your upcoming ones on here too.
Yeah.
So which is cool. Because that
is a cool update for people that are into souvenirs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like retired guy, he's got to keep up with the pack.
once again, if there's a stat out there, there's somebody that knows they're the first in the world at it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
No doubt about it.
Absolutely.
All right, what's
But
next?
guys,
Go
moving
ahead.
on, Cache Odyssey. We're almost at 6,000 total finds.
That's
Oh
unbelievable.
my gosh.
Yeah,
6,000.
just nuts. Because like right before the show on here, it was at 5,965 total finds. So I'm thinking we're either going to break that today or tomorrow.
Wow.
And over
Sick.
3,350 favorite points. And then get this, guys, okay? We now top finder for Cache Odyssey has 43 out of 50 found.
That's crazy.
Nope.
43. Yeah.
43.
However that works.
And that is Poan. So big shout out to Poan on that one.
Yep.
I mean, absolutely incredible. I'm rooting for you, Poan, on that one.
There are five people in total that have over 30. Can you believe that?
That's
30 states.
I'm shocked, but I'm not, right? Like, you think if there's a list, if there's anything out there for geocachers to accomplish, obviously most of the world won't be able to do this kind of stuff, right? Like, they'll get a few around their states, they'll go around, but like most cachers don't get all 50 states if they're from the US, or they don't get countries if they're from Europe, gathering countries and stuff and provinces. But I mean, 43 states, that's like this year.
We're talking since December 29th.
Yeah, this half year.
What the percentage of people that have been in geocaching for 5 years have even got 43 states?
Oh yeah,
it's got to be low.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not that it's unheard of, right? I have more than 43 states, but I've been caching for years. That didn't happen this year.
Yeah,
right.
So that's an amazing accomplishment.
I know, incredible. All
right, we got one more item, and then we're going to jump in because we got a lot to talk about tonight. So here we have a special announcement, though. By popular demands that we could not stop the onrush of people, the clamoring for, and we have listened to your cries and fits of anger about this, and now you can turn that anger to joy, because this week in our store you will be able to buy this coin, the Jasmer Loop 4 coin.
And this
Take
is
a
extremely
gander at
limited, right, Gary?
Joy. Well, yeah, like 10 or something. I mean, I figured nobody wants to really buy one of these. No, it's more than that. I think it's 30.
It's more than that, but it'll be gone. That'll be gone in 2 weeks.
Will it?
We'll see.
Yeah,
Again,
we don't know.
The way the first ones like were available, it's just, man, they went like hotcakes.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. I like the way
whether that many people have gotten it or not. I'm not going to miss my opportunity to have that coin, because when I finally do get all 4, I need to have that. I need to have the whole set so I can frame it.
Yeah, they're I think it turned out great. It's different than our other ones, the copper and the silver and the various. This is obviously black with the yellow. So very excited that those coins did come in, and they'll be available probably tomorrow on the store. So keep your eye open for it. I didn't get home till very late, or I would have got them in the store tonight, but that's okay. They'll be in the store tomorrow, and we're very excited. I'm kidding, but we are very excited to have the Loop 4 coin available. So
I am super excited about that, and we'll probably get into this area later tonight.
Yeah.
There's no chance I won't have that coin, but there's many other coins I don't even blink at, but that's a whole. We're gonna get into that. So,
can you get one of the plastic? Yes, I got a whole thing of them, Ryan. There's a whole bag full of them, and they're in their pristine. He don't want my grubby hands on it. There's a pristine one. Okay, so there you go, buddy. You're good.
So obviously we don't have to do high pressure sales on this one because it's not that kind of thing. He's joking around, but he's like, we still have one to sell 20 years from now. First of all,
yes,
we'll all be 120 by then. But second of all, it's just like challenges. If this is one of those things that you're kind of obsessed about, like all of us are becoming, the three of us are becoming obsessed about Jasmer.
Yep.
Just like signing a challenge ahead of time, get it. So when you have it, you have it. Because a whole nother show we need to have, which we can't touch tonight, is how to display coins.
Oh, yeah, we'll do that.
That's a great
Can't
one.
even touch that because I've got an idea of what I'm going to do with these.
Okay,
It's
cool.
something I've never tried before, but that's a whole. We can't even go down that road right now.
No, we will. And last comment on that was Direwolf's asked if I'll have them for sale 20 years from now. Probably. I mean, who's going to buy a Loop 4? I mean,
Oh, please. And okay, on the opposite side of that, take any ones you have left on the cruise. There won't be any left on.
there won't be after that. Yeah,
they'll be gone. They'll be gone, dude. But you know, we don't sell a lot of coins or whatever. This is part of a bigger project, is why we're doing. You know, for something. For anybody that hasn't heard, we're going on a cruise next year. But hey, a cruise. But again, not to get off topic, but I'm excited about this one. I get excited about a few coins, and this is one of them. So
yeah, me too. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
But I think we have a topic for tonight, don't we?
We do. Let's get right into it because we've got a lot in the notes. In fact, I am thinking maybe we might have to do a part
Let's
2.
just get started and see where it goes. Yeah, because I don't.
We'll see.
It just keeps. There's more. It's such a big topic, actually.
It really is, and we're covering a very specific part of it. And I want to mention again, we're talking about the obsession of trackables.
Yes.
So we're not going to talk about all the things you can do with trackables.
Yeah.
We're not doing all that.
And if you're one of those really obsessed people, you may get offended by me tonight. Just going to warn you ahead of time.
Just warning you now.
But this is an
Wait. Jesse, just tonight you're saying you may offend people?
Just currently. Yeah, no, I mean, again, obviously. But I gave a disclaimer. I thought it was being nice. I just got home from vacation and, you know, I'm still on the high of vacation and picking up new countries and all that other stuff. And, you know, I'm feeling very generous and nice. So I'm still going to offend you. I'm just warning you ahead of time. So
yeah, we'll see. I mean, we love trackables to a point. Obviously, I've got one right behind me. You want to that one? That's the only.
All three have very different opinions on trackables, actually.
One we're showing tonight is our normal one, which is right behind my head, right there.
I Gary, if you show another one, we got to put you in timeout now.
I know. You will.
You made the rules, not us.
hey, Jesse, I got the button ready for Gary. Just
okay,
saying.
get the button ready.
Kick me out. That's the only one we're showing, but that's always back there, so that's different. So, all right. Okay, special rules. I already went over them. I think I can do it again. You can share one tonight. I shared my one. We'll not be sharing codes other than us because we can do what we want. It's our show. And if you abuse it, we'll kick you out. That's the only rule. So, all right, let's
telling you to share a code. We're
no,
saying
you don't
we're
have
limited.
to.
We don't need this to become a share the code thing because
we'll
be booted. So please don't do that.
That's a good place to start though, because we've talked about this briefly, but I do want to mention that we did not anticipate CacheCon, Worldwide CacheCon, when we did it, and it was fine. We didn't get in any trouble for it.
No,
but people started sharing codes, and it just sort of took on a life of its own.
They were sharing, and I think we should address why that's a potential issue, right? It's a potential issue because when you're sharing codes online, there's no way to know if they're actually yours or you're sharing somebody else's codes.
Yes.
And people put codes on certain things. Like, just a trackable out in the wild. I wouldn't care. You know, I don't think anybody would care as much. They might, but there's trackables that people use for certain things, you know, like this is only shown to certain people, or it's part of if you found this monumental cache, they share a trackable with you, or, you know, some of them are even proof that you've been somewhere. People use them as part of virtuals and everything else. So there's a lot of reasons why you should not be sharing other people's codes. And when you're sharing them online, it's hard to know whose code is what. So that's really why it's not just about being a nerd about stuff. There's a reason, and some people place a lot of value on how they use their trackables, and they should be able to keep that to who they choose to share it with. So there's some legitimacy behind that.
And I appreciate you sharing that, Jesse, because I mean, there's some people too, if a trackable code gets out there without people's consent, or sometimes even with people knowing, there's some people who will actually drop that trackable into some cache randomly in the middle of nowhere too. And, I mean, and we don't want that to happen. Just saying.
So I have to ask. So we're going there. So we're going there, huh? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
I have a lot of them in my virtual, our virtual, right? Not my virtual, our virtual. Even though it's under my account, the Mingo plaque has a bunch of trackables listed as being in that virtual. Why is that possibly allowed? That's my first question. Why does you allow you to drop trackables into something that doesn't have a container?
Which physically can't happen. Yeah, I don't think people realize there's no way to put it. I mean, you could probably put it next to the sign, but there's no way
There's no containers. I've never understood why they allow that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they should stop it. I like parking mine in there, and we'll probably get into it. But like a dead trackable, I take dead trackables and park them in virtuals. And then, like, if you go on that page, if you clicked on that virtual page, there's a way to discover it. It's not always very obvious, but there's a way to discover it. Since my trackable's dead, I still want people to find it eventually. So that's just another way I've found to go around the system to do that. But I've never understood why they allow that to happen. And I don't want to get us off into the code part of it. That's more the code stuff, I guess.
Yeah, we want to talk about the folks.
Okay, you're right. It's hard to separate all these things we want to talk about.
Well, in case anybody wants to, create an obsessed trackable group, I know some people in the chat room that you could definitely add to that group. You add Ryan. Ryan is obsessed. I know that Dawn is, because she's not happy that we put rules out. So she basically told me I'm rude. So I know that she is part of that group of obsessed people. So, I mean,
and again, that's a different topic than we're talking about. We're not
trying
to get off that topic and talk about actual trackables and stuff like that, right? Yes.
Yeah. And Ryan's saying there's already many groups.
There's tons of them out there.
And yeah, Dawn's like me. Well, what's funny about this? What's funny about this group though is they're regular people. I think, I don't know, Ryan and Dawn, and
as opposed to what? They're regular people,
right? I guess they're normal. They appear to be normal people, but
many of them are famous. I don't mean famous, but like well-known names in the in the geocaching community.
Yeah, and I can't bring his link up, but Houston, Texas Dave, he always shares, typically, not always, but he shares, and from what I can tell, he's a normal guy.
Yeah, he shares one almost every week, right?
Yeah, he almost shares one every week, and so I'm thinking, what? Oh, we're gonna get into it. Because my overall question that I want to answer tonight, and so everybody in the chat room that can, if they just ponder it, we're not going to get to the full answer tonight, but my and the three of us are different, but we both have different opinions of it. Mine is that I'm just baffled. So I know Jesse has a very strong opinion about things, and John does too. My opinion is I don't know. I don't get the obsession. And so that's why we're doing the show, I think, partially. I just don't. I mean, I always like trackables. I've got one. I got one behind me. I've got plenty of trackables. There's a trackable on this one. I'm not going to show it to you, but so that's my overall question is, and that's something hopefully you two guys can help me with tonight is.
I need you to clarify the question that you're asking.
Okay.
This is like the last time we did trivia and you made the really vague questions to confuse everybody.
Yeah, I know.
Oh man, don't give me flashbacks, Jesse. Don't give me flashbacks.
Poor Gary blamed it on AI too. I was like, no, come on now. You made up all those questions.
We screwed that up.
Are you asking about the codes or the physical trackables themselves?
No, neither. I'm asking about the people.
What about the people?
What causes a person to become obsessed with trackables?
I know. Again, let me refine this question. What causes people to get obsessed with sharing the codes or having like the physical trackable or the code? That's two different types of obsessions, in my opinion.
No, you're correct. I think that my question is more on the sharing the code.
Oh, okay. So I see it as two very different issues, and I'll pass it over to John. So
you're right, though. That's a very good point because we all have. I mean, I got a whole wall behind me of. Heck, I've got here. Let me show you real quick.
Oh man, we're getting the behind the scenes look.
Oh, you're getting behind the scenes. So there's all my, well, not all, but there's most of my feathers from last year.
Yeah,
I got a whole thing up here, which is all the what do you call these? Help me out, guys. The little lackey tags.
Yeah, like the little metal ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all have a code on the back. I'm going to block mine because somebody will try to steal it, and that's a whole other part of the show. But I made a whole thing for that. And then I'll show you real quick, and we'll get back on track. But look, I got a whole wall of, I got three shelves of these things. So obviously I have plenty of them. But why? Why do people? And actually, that leads to my first point. My first one. Oh, let's throw it to John. We'll get back to me in a minute. Go ahead.
So Gary, are you saying you don't get it, and then you just showed us all of the ones that you have? Is that what
I don't show any? I'm not showing any codes.
Okay.
See, again, you've separated the issue already. You've separated the code from the physical item. You like the physical item, not the code as much.
Right.
And so
I want
to address a couple things people said in here too. So a lot of people are obsessed with trackables, and here's obsessed, right? So if you look outside, somebody outside of our hobby, they would look at what you just showed and said that guy is obsessed with trackables because you had a couple hundred trackables at your house in one room, right? However, we know that people have thousands of them. So you're saying that you're not even that big into trackables and you have a couple hundred of them, and that's a physical item.
I'm the physical item.
So defining obsessed, we're all kind of obsessed. I just milestone brag for me, but it's big for me, but not big for everybody else. I just hit 14,000 caches on my vacation.
That is awesome.
That's huge. It's not even that the number matters. That's something I've done 14,000 times. So you could say I'm obsessed with geocaching, right? But so that level of obsession, I think, is hard to define in a sport that's all about obsession. But other people said things like comments that I agree with a lot of these comments that are already coming in. They help.
Right.
People like shiny things. Absolutely true.
Point.
People love, whether it's little glass animals or stamps or anything else, if you can collect it, people are going to do it and be really into it. And somebody did mention neurodivergence and autism, which is a whole other show that we should talk about. And that
would be a good show.
And that's something obviously I'm interested in because of my job and everything else. And I know several people that we talk to.
Yeah.
There is a connection there. And we don't even have to scratch that surface tonight. But I think it's like everything else in geocaching, and John may totally disagree with me. While my interest in it has gone up and down over the years, and on both sides of it, the physical objects, I looked it up. I've only activated, I know I have hundreds of trackables, like physical trackables. I've only activated 166 of them.
Right.
And I know I have tons more, but I've never activated them. I'm collecting the trackable as opposed to the code. I also know I've discovered over 8,000.
Right. Oh, wow. See, that's
two different stats,
crazy.
Right? Very different stats.
Absolutely.
But I think it's just like geocaching in that, like we always joke about waymarking and stuff like that. If there's a stat, there's going to be a group of people that are drawn to really be obsessed with that stat. Well, trackable is a big stat. It is and it's not. And there's a whole other thing we're going to get into. But trackable is a big part of the game in that there's a lot of people that are in it. There's megas about it. People are into trackables. The obsession is just like finding 200,000 caches or whatever, right? Once you start doing something, you get deeper and deeper into something. And generally,
there's not a lot of stats on it, though.
okay.
Well,
although Ryan mentions there's challenges around it, right?
There used to be. Well, I think there still are. Yeah.
I don't know if that's pre-moratorium or.
Great. Ryan can answer that question. But
yeah,
I was under the impression that you could make a new challenge based on finding a certain number of trackables, but I may be wrong.
Interesting. That one would be good to know.
And here's why it's a stat. If you remember on the old profile page, one of the main 4 items that it showed, other than where you're from, and
old challenges. Sorry, go ahead.
Was that they showed how many trackables you discovered. That used to be a main stat on your main profile page. This happened, and then remember how it got out of hand where people were sharing huge list of codes. They now remove that, and it's very hard to find where your number is for discovering trackables. You have to do
that's
a lot of
good point.
scrolling.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that was an intentional thing because that stat was becoming out of control for people. Because if there's a check mark or a list or a stat, somebody's cheating the system to do it. That's just all there is to it, right? I think that was intentionally moved off the main page to stop that fight.
Is it on the old page?
No, you can get it on the new page. If you go to your profile and click on the tab that says Trackables, on the left side it'll say Trackables discovered. On the right side it'll say Trackables owned. You have to go to the left side and scroll all the way down to the bottom of that list, and it'll have a total for you at the bottom.
Okay, so I'm not looking at. Am I looking at mine or just trackable items in general?
You're looking at. So when you click on Trackables in your main profile, right, that tab.
Yep, I'm looking.
You'll see two lists. The one on the left says Trackables discovered. The one on the right says Trackables owned.
Okay,
pull it up. Just pull up and share, and I'll show you.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Jesse.
Trackable inventory, trackable collections, stats.
No,
members,
go to your profile here.
Oh, profile. Okay, got you. I was on the stat part. Okay, got
No,
you.
yeah, your main
Got it?
profile.
Your main profile. Okay.
Yeah, your main profile.
Oh,
I think the Trackable tab is like the third one.
I'm on the old page. I gotta go to the new dashboard. Sorry, I use the old dashboard. That's for another show.
You're shocked.
I don't like the new. I don't like the new one. What are you talking about?
Oh man, you're still the guy using a 9-year-old laptop, Gary, aren't you?
Well, I'm about to get one because I'm up to here, and for audio listeners, I'm looking at my eyes. I'm up to here with my stupid laptop, so I'm going to get a new one. Go ahead.
Because this is a side note, but just for a future show, because I fully admit when I do something stupid or say something stupid. On this trip last week, I actually said I wish I had a GPS. I'm not going to say why.
Whoa!
That's
Jesse.
We'll
Wow.
a show coming up really soon. We'll get into that. But I actually said that. My wife agreed. We both hated ourselves for saying it, but we said it.
I can't believe you said that.
Man, this is a guy that's harassed me for carrying one around. Okay.
I do. In fact, I harass a lot of people for that.
Yeah.
But you got to make fun of dinosaurs. But anyway, did you scroll down and see how many you had there?
Yeah. I
own trackables, your inventory, trackable logs.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry.
No, if you scroll down, Gary, it says like total trackables moved / discovered.
On my regular on the page.
If you go to,
okay, I'm going to share my page.
The upper, if you share.
Hey guys, we're the experts. Can you tell?
We are experts on this since I don't really care about sharing a trackable code. All right, on the left hand side, we'll wrap up because we got to move on. So, on my left side, there is a section called Trackables.
No. We're saying in the upper right, Gary. If you click on G-Slink and Slinky Mama in the upper right hand corner,
events nearby. Oh, okay. Click on that.
Go to your view your
We're
profile.
We're gonna confuse everybody.
And then view your profile where it tells you your cumulative number of finds and hides and your favorite points. On there in the new profile, I'll share mine. I don't
share yours so I can see. View profile. Do I view my profile?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So view profile on here.
Oh, okay. Now we're talking.
And let's see. Do you see it?
Because the tabs.
Hang on.
Yeah, in mine. If I go down here,
on my page.
Oh, not here. If I go to Trackables.
Yep.
And you can see, on here the move discovered and trackable owned ones. So you can see for me, total trackable owns 10, which that's only 10 activated. I have a lot more than that.
Yeah.
But if you go down and you kind of have to like scroll down all the way, right? Which is a little
all the way down.
But it tells you your total trackables moved and discovered on here. Which Ryan Semmels, you're on mine.
Trackables, I found it. Total trackables moved discovered 145.
There you go.
Yeah.
145.
Okay. So really,
so I got more than you, John?
No. I got 283 total trackables moved / discovered.
Oh, okay. And Jesse's got 17,000, 18,000?
No, I don't know.
1 million?
I think it was
5,000.
8,543.
Yeah.
And then 166
Good
activated.
grief, you're obsessed.
You would think that right from the
You're
outside.
obsessed.
And there was a time when I was very diligent about discovering trackables a lot. And when I'd go to mega events, I would discover a lot of trackables or whatever. But I have no interest in that now because it's not a stat I look at or anything.
Just burnt
I like
turtles.
physical trackables more than I like the trackable numbers. But
Yeah. Now, guys, I got to go back. I think Chris Mackey brought up a point that really drives it home for me.
Yeah, definitely go for it.
Yeah, earlier. Let me find the comment. As he said, discoveries are a fantastic way to digitally record caches you have interacted with. This is the part I appreciate about Trackable. To tell you the truth. So if it's I'm not going to show the code on here, but Judy Von Mass Seeker gave me this, one of my favorite coins out there as well too. To me it just means so much getting that from Judy on that side that I just think that's so cool. And I mean, just to see everything that she logged before and now then to be able to do that myself as well.
Yeah.
To me that's cool. The same thing with kind of anything, but that personal interaction, like one Tricashius came through like town a while back and gave me this one,
Yep. Very
and
nice.
just getting that from him, talking about the design of the coin onto that one. I mean, to me that was just like so cool as part of it. So to me, like extending that social part of caching is something where it's very meaningful to me,
but
with those codes and discovering it.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt, but you're talking about the item. If he handed you a piece of paper and said, "Hey, guess what? Here's something that really means a lot to me. Can you take it home with you and keep it?" And you're like, "Okay." You're talking about a coin. You're not. I mean, well, don't look at it. But do you know the number right off the top of your head? What's the code number? Don't share it. But do you know the code off the top of your head? Of course not. You're
talking about a code, and he's talking about the whole page that it takes you to.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's the difference, because you can put a lot on those trackable pages, and people don't generally do that.
That's true.
You can put, well, they're tied into caches. People put stories, and I think it's hard to separate in your mind the code. But it really is two different things. Like sharing a bunch of code just for the sake of sharing the codes, and then having the codes attached to a trackable. Like one of the favorite trackables I've ever gotten that wasn't one that was personally handed to me, right? Like somebody's personal coin.
Yeah.
Every one of those that I have is the best thing in my collection, right? When somebody said, "I made this and I want you to have it," that to me is awesome. You can't,
absolutely,
it's a personal thing. And I'm not talking about like the ones that we make on the show, because I've never made a personal coin outside of the ones we made on the show, right? Like we've been involved with this group the whole time. So we're making a lot of coins over the years for different projects, but there's not one that says Memphis Mafia on it. I've never made one for my family. But,
not yet.
But outside of those personal coins, like one of my favorite trackables I've ever come across, it is associated code, and there's a lot of information on that trackable page, but it was a book. There's a trackable book, and the story behind it, and there's more than one out there, but this one, and then you follow it later. So each page is a new person that's discovered it, or you've handed it to, and they write a story. They write a story on that page. Then they take it and hand it to another person, and it goes around, and you can see everybody that's had it and where it's gone around the world. And they do the story based on where they are. We're in Colorado. We wrote a big story on it or whatever. That one was awesome, but it had the physical thing tied into the web page also. So that was a unique instance I know there's more than one of those out there now, but this was several years ago when I saw it. And I thought that was one of the coolest things and the best use of trackable, like the physical thing and the technology side at the same time. But short of that, it generally gets into here's a page of them discovered, or I've discovered 50,000 of them or whatever. That's one group of obsessed people.
Mm-hmm.
And I have nothing against that. There was a time when me and some of my friends were, oh, this is cool. Let's race and do this. It's just one more thing to get obsessed with. Or the people that collect them. I think that's usually not necessarily the same group.
Yeah.
Right?
I got a question for you guys. Now in here, Have you ever watched a trackable that you've had in your possession at one point? You've picked up and put it somewhere else.
The only one I've ever done that with was when I was entered in. I felt very honored. I was entered in a group with back when Daryl W4 had Geo Gearheads show, and he entered me in to watch a trackable race. And my trackable, this is also for another show. My trackable went 10 miles and died. And
So-
all these other trackables were going all the way across the country. Mine's in, they were going from, I think from Detroit to Seattle, because Daryl W4 he lives in Michigan. So
Yeah.
and mine, I don't even know, mine went 10 miles. Mine went like 3 miles and died. And everybody else's was like, mine's almost to Seattle. I was like, mine's not going anywhere. But
Oh man.
so I don't think I've really
That's rough.
tracked.
How
ahead.
about you, Jesse? Do you have any trackable items on your watch list?
Yes. And now that changes over the year. So I've had some that I wanted to watch, and I'll have to look up my watch list to see what I currently have. But I also ran trackable races in the past too.
Right.
So we hosted an event, had a bunch of trackables, had a bunch of different prizes for it. We did a monthly newsletter to update everybody where the trackables were. So we did it for a full year. And we started it the next year, but it didn't have as much steam the second year. So we didn't do it the third year or whatever. But so we were regularly, I had my watch list. We were regularly watching these. And there were several categories. So we were seeing where everybody was going, the distance, the first one to hit certain countries and continents and stuff like that, the most continents. So we were watching a lot of them. So there was a time where we were really watching a lot of trackables and tracking trackables. That doesn't sound right, but tracking trackables movements and goals and things like that, and the ones with the most photos on it and stuff like that. So when we were running that trackable race, we were big into that. I found a few other trackables and outside of my own you're talking about, right? Not you're talking about somebody else, not your own.
Ones that aren't yours that you got at one point, you passed on, and you're watching because you thought that trackable was cool and you wanted to see, where it was going, what was happening to it.
I have over time. There's none that I'm currently watching like big time or anything, but I have over the years, like when they have a particular goal that I think is neat, or I've helped move them. Like I had one that was trying to get to all 50 states, and it was at like 42 or something when I got it. So I moved it to the next state over, and then I kind of wanted to see when the goal got finished. So I've watched a few over the years. I am not currently watching any that I'm not watching them. They may have them on my watch list, but I'm not watching them right now.
Okay. We got a lot of different parts to this I want to cover, but I want to wrap up one little section, and then I will mostly shut up. I can't completely shut up, but I'm gonna mostly shut up. So I want to ask you guys this, because this is the thing that still baffles me. Okay. I'm going to paint you a scenario, and you guys tell me what the mindset, what's going on, okay, in a person's brain and what's going on. And Jesse, you might have cracked the code on this one, okay?
All right.
But let's say that somebody walks up to you and says, would you discover this trackable? And let's just say, for sake of argument, the code is on a yellow, I'm holding up for our audio listeners, a yellow sticky note. Okay. So there's no tracker. There's no nice Jasmer coin here. There's none, there's none of that. There's no bowling ball, nothing that you can talk about. Yellow sticky note. It has a trackable code on it. And you go, sure, I'll discover it, and so you go to the page. There's nothing on the page really other than, hey, it's a geocaching trackable number.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like, remember, Jesse and I found a trackable tag with nothing attached to it, and we went and checked to see if it was active. It was active. Okay, great. We record. So what's the hope behind the person that owns this?
Oh, yeah.
This piece of paper, this sticky note with a code on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you say, please discover it the person says, I'll discover it right now. And they go, you have just made me so happy that you discovered this code. Why? Why are they excited about it? It's not the trackable because there's nothing. Why are they excited about the code?
So
Is it the note they're hoping people will leave for them, or help me out?
let me answer your question with a question for you.
Okay.
You own geocaches, right?
Yeah.
Do you read your found it logs?
Absolutely.
You read all of them that come in?
I read all of them.
Okay. Why?
I want to hear a couple of reasons. One is obviously if somebody says that was an awesome cache, then it means something to me that I'm getting some compliment, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
If there's a problem, then I hope they say, hey, I found your cache. It was really cool, but guess what? Your container is now broken. Then I can make a note and I can go out and fix it.
Mhm.
So information, but also we all crave adoration, but am I getting any okay, I'll stop. So keep going.
I think you're on. I think you're close to it, and many people in the chat room have already hit it too. One, it tracks people that they've met.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and take away the fact that you're on a podcast and people may have heard your name somewhere, right? It's just you as just a person, not you.
Okay.
People use to track things they've met. Now, people also I have discovered a lot of trackables over the years. Now, the unique ones, I'll put a note in, like a found it log, and I'll write some information in there.
Right.
Those are cool. And some of the coolest trackable experiences I've had, I had two, finally, after years, just recently went missing. It died. But I had two trackables that I sent out. And the story was that they were competing to save the world. And they were two little plastic ninjas, right? And they've been all over the world. And there's a crap ton of pictures out there with them. They've got like 14,000 miles on them. And people found it, read the story, and wrote fun notes on like, oh, this one's got to save the world. I'm going to get this ahead, move more miles on it or whatever. And took pictures with this little trackable. To me, that's just as fun as the caches I've had with good logs on that I own. Sure. When somebody puts a fun note on a trackable, that's just as fun as a good found it log to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, it's also a way to keep up with people that you've met. So I can see the value in that. I absolutely can, because I've read some of my trackable logs and had a great day because of it. I mean, there's some value you can get out of that. Now, and somebody may just want their trackable. It's probably a stat. Like I said, there's probably a stat out there for most discovered trackable, and somebody wants to win that race and they want people to discover it. Sure. And they have their own way of doing it. Like they have to show somebody personally the code or whatever. Mm-hmm. I guarantee you there's people out there that just really want their trackable discovered, and that's what they're into.
Yeah.
That's not my thing. I'm not saying that it hasn't been. I've liked when my trackables were discovered in the past, right? Because we know that I'm not always a good rule follower. If it's not an exact
no, wait.
I'm going to try to push it, right?
Hang on a second.
Yeah.
Whoa, you're recording that Jesse's not a good rule follower?
Shattering news going on right here.
So,
I need to.
But like, I've had trackables go missing, which they do.
Say that in my good ear again. You said you're not a good rule follower. Is that what you said?
I feel if I paid my $1.50 plus whatever I paid for, $5 or whatever for the trackable code, I own it and can do whatever I want to do with that code.
Yes.
The people in this chat room know, but other people too. I have taken dead trackables. I've re-released them before too, but that's a whole different show, right? But I've taken those and I've done what I wanted to do with them. In the book that I wrote, I hid trackables in there.
Yeah, I have trackables in my book.
Not a week goes by that I don't get one. Well, maybe a week goes, but discovery in there. Somebody like, I just found this inside the book. I'm having a great time, and I usually get personal notes on that, right? I know that they're reading the book because they found that trackable, but it doesn't. It's I've hidden them on my profile page before. And I know if somebody's on my profile page, is like, I found this. You hit a trackable in here. To me, it's a way to check in because I know somebody's going to do it. So it's kind of a connection across the game, across many things. So when we're talking codes, and we kind of got off the physical object side, right? But we can't get to all that tonight. But we're talking codes. For me, it's a way to connect to other people. Yeah, I love 100%. When I get somebody that goes, hey, I'm reading your book. This is funny. You hit this code in here. Yeah. I love that. Or they're like, that's a way to connect. And I've emailed those people back before, not emailed, but like messaged them back. I'm like, hey, I'm glad you're reading the book. just to let you know there's this many more in it or whatever. Hope you find them all, or, hope you really enjoy, and I've connected with people because of Trackables before that I've messaged with it. So I see now obviously it'd be cooler if that was not a yellow Post-it note, right?
Right.
But if that's the way that person is doing it, I see how they're connecting with people like that. So I see that. I see that part of it. Again, that's totally separate than the other part of like, I want to discover 8 bazillion trackable codes.
Right.
Again, if that's your obsession, it's just another stat.
Well, and I gotta tell you, it's like for me, if one person on a yellow sticky note was like, "This is meaningful for me," that hits home.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That hits
I have
me
one
so
follow-up.
much harder than somebody being like, "Hey, here's a list of like 80 trackables. You can get them all on here." Just that personal connection is huge, and I appreciate what Chris was saying here.
Yeah,
where Chris said a great trackable log can definitely be better than an impersonal found it log on your cache. 100%.
absolutely.
Yeah. I know, like, we have a few trackables like we don't put out there in mass, but when those are discovered, those make our day. They really do.
I have one follow-up, and then we'll move on. But I'm starting to understand this, but I've got one more follow-up to this.
All right.
So you guys explain to me the obsession, and you guys have all seen this.
Yeah.
The obsession, you're starting, you pull up to an event, you get out of the car, you start to walk up to the event, and you see somebody, and they're walking from car to car. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And they come up to your car, because I got one on my car, and they find it and they log it. But there's no personal, let's say that I don't talk to them on the way. Okay, so there's no personal.
You never met the person. Yeah, but
never met them, and they never talked to me once, and they don't know who I am and all that kind of stuff.
2 parts of that. I already got your answer in 2 parts.
Okay. So, but you understand, you see where
I know
I'm
exactly
going
what you're
with this.
asking. Yeah.
Because I'm just now removed. I've sliced off the whole section that we were talking about Chris Mackey was, and other people in the room, in the chat room, are giving perfect answers to that part of it. But now I'm going to bifurcate that whole section of meaningful, so why is this person doing this?
So, first of all, I got to bring this up because Ryan I told you there was a stat for it.
Oh, good.
Oh, wow.
The most trackables discovered in North America is 64,719.
Why?
Because they can.
Because they can.
Because they can. You know what I mean? So here's what I would say, and John, tell me if you disagree, because I've been that person in the parking lot before.
Yeah.
Early on, when I went to my first mega, again, I've told the story. It's embarrassing, but it's stupid. I did not really know what a mega was when I went to my first one. I'd only been to smaller events. I didn't have any idea of the scope of a mega when I showed up. And it was a coin. It was a geocoin fest. It was obviously totally out of my element. I didn't know much about it. I was freaking out because I had only seen like 3 trackable cars before that. And they were everywhere in the parking lot. So I was like, oh my gosh. For me, there's 2 things. One, if you like to just discover the crap out of them, it's just like, why do you find 14,000 geocaches as opposed to 100? Because you can, and you enjoy doing it. And then the other part is you do have a connection, even though you haven't seen them, you do have a connection. Now think about it this way. You know that all these people were probably at this event. You've got a list of all the people that you saw that had logged in at the event. And it is a way, just like, to me, finding those is the exact same as going to do a power trail for geocaching. Those individual caches on a power trail are crap. You're not going to remember any of those.
Yeah.
They're generally low quality. You're only doing that to boost your numbers. There's no other reason. Power trails are almost always maybe one good cache every 100 of them, but they're trash along the way. It's purely a numbers game. Trackables are the same way.
Yeah.
It's a numbers game. You're just like, oh, I found 100 trackables. I wonder if I can find 200 or 1,000.
Yeah.
So I think you have to look at it just like geocaching. How much different is that than power trail?
Yeah, Jesse, it's kind of creeping me out how much we're agreeing on this show. Usually we don't agree this much, and it feels weird. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah, I don't like this.
Okay, welcome to Geocache Talk, version 3.0, which
Oh,
is
and
whoa,
okay,
wait a
so
minute.
that trackable.
Where'd you come from?
Oh
And
gosh.
we're back. But
We're having fun
I
tonight.
don't know. I hear you 100% because I know like some of the events we went to, first off, like seeing people's cars, getting those trackables, and it's cool. And I agree. It's just like geocaching is such a game. You play it the way that brings you joy in your own way. And and there's certain ways for people. Trackables just bring people so much joy on that one.
Okay.
I agree. I don't discover, unless there's some personal connection to it, I don't discover trackable codes. I don't, when I go to a mega, now my first mega, I discovered a bunch. My second one, I discovered less. And now we've been to, I don't know, 14, 15 megas or whatever. So I don't go and discover them because I'm doing something else now.
Because you're not a crazy man.
Trackable on a car in the wild, I 100% discover it. Yep. And I've even discovered one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nobody listen to this that's in law enforcement now, but driving down the street on the highway, there was a truck in a totally random area, not related to geocaching. We were in kind of traffic, but it wasn't going like super fast. We were slowing down a little bit. It was slow enough that the car next to me in the next lane, but one up, had a trackable in the back window. So I was trying to zoom in, I'm not going to say I was driving, but and discovered that tracker when I was doing this number where I discovered I'm behind you in traffic. Not expecting to actually do it, but I just thought it was funny and took a picture, I like it. To me, it's like an encounter, like a close encounter, not that kind, like a close encounter with
of the 1.5
geocacher that you almost met. Because it's on your car, they're driving, but you're in normal life, not geocaching life, right?
Yeah, and that's unique.
To me, it's not very unique to find them at a mega.
No,
they're there. But when you see one and you're like, I'm at the best restaurant in the world, Taco Bell, and I'm like, oh, somebody here is a geocacher. To me, that's pretty neat. So,
Ryan says I've sped up to get a trackable code.
Yeah. And I never admit to that, but I when I've had trackable codes on my car, and I don't currently have one on mine, I've got to get a new one. I think it's awesome when they get discovered because you're like, I saw you at so and so. That's neat. That's they don't know who I am. They're just like, I saw your Jeep at so and so, or it was. And I think that's kind of neat. That connection is neat. Still a little different than finding a crap ton of them, but again, same as a power trail. It's finding a crap ton of them, but there is a personal connection there when you see the car. And now here's the part where hopefully Brian and all of them are not listening, right? Hey guys, turn your. If you're listening to our podcast, turn it off for a minute.
HQ, you need to leave for a moment.
Do not listen to this part. If people don't do, and we can talk about this on another show, but if people don't set up their trackables the right way, you can take their car, grab it, and put it somewhere. Oh, and that's fun for me.
Is Gary's car still at the Mingo plaque? You're saying
it may be. I know Ryan's was for a long time. Oh, whoops! Ryan is a reviewer and he's in the chat room. Ryan, it was not you. It was different Ryan.
You don't know that.
Because it happened to me once and I thought it was hilarious. Now I understand some people.
Hang on a minute.
A little bit hurt about that. Are you checking yours? Oh no!
Hang on 1 second.
Oh, was I not supposed to tell Gary about that?
Maybe not.
Which one? What happened?
Your trackable, your car?
Your car being at the Mingo plaque, dropped off there.
Did you drop my Mingo? Oh, no.
If it's still in there, it's been in there for like 5 years now.
All right. Let me mention one that I've got in my collection right now. It's in my inventory. So as you go through my inventory, can I show this? Oh, darn, I can't show it. It's got all the codes in it. I can show one.
Yes. As Dawn says, people have grabbed my my trackable tattoo before.
Yes, off your thing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to cover this one up, but I currently have in my possession. Oh, how can I show? Oh, I got my little thing here. Here we go. I know I have a yellow sticky note out for a reason. I currently have in my possession a fanny pack.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's mine. Look at that.
It's currently in my possession.
And again, all kinds of different opinions. Like somebody says they think they like bumper stickers better. Well, I get that totally. Like they don't want trackable code. And there's always security reasons for everything, right? But I don't put bumper stickers on my car. I'll do a window decal, but I'm not putting a sticker on my car. so that doesn't work for me, right? But again, I think the whole point is like the whole point of our show. There's a different way to do everything, and I think that's what fascinates me about this game is somebody is everything that we've mentioned, even joking or not tonight. There's somebody that's their main point of the game.
Yeah,
that's their obsession, and I love the fact that there can be so many different obsessions in a game like this.
So obviously somebody found my Trackable, which wherever it's going in the world now, but they posted a picture because they saw me at Woodstock. So
yeah, see, that's cool. You're connecting with somebody that you may not have time to meet at the Mega, but now y'all had like some kind of connection now.
So I've got another question for you guys. So it's been a few years ago. Jesse, you might remember the year, but I don't remember what year it was. But anyway, a few years ago, somebody posted, I forget where they posted even, but they posted like 300 or 400 trackable codes.
Yeah.
And obviously HQ found out, and they kind of did what they could to sort of stem the tide. But the comments from people who were like, that's my Trackable, and they were losing their mind. It's a family show, I'm not going to go there, but they were losing their brains were exploding in massive fireworks because somebody had taken their Trackable, and not even taken it. They had just seen it, and they discovered their Trackable, and these people were like, "Oh my God, this Trackable is in my private collection, my vault that nobody ever will see in their life, and I am violated. It's like people came in and stole their jewelry from their house, but." Why is it that most people, I think, well, I'm going to let you comment on that.
Yeah. So I think Trackables are the internet. And what I mean by that is if you go on the internet, let's say Facebook, and you post something, you may get positive things. You may get some terrible, mean, hurtful comments, right?
Yeah.
If you have a Trackable or own a Trackable, first of all, there's only so many codes, like we were talking about before the show.
Yep.
Somebody can find yours out by accident if they want to. They can type them in wrong. They can guess. It's not like it's letters that have not been invented yet. It's only so many letters and numbers, right?
Would you come up with 16 billion? 16 billion. Right?
Yeah, like 78 billion or something like that.
78 billion, okay. Gotcha.
Some insane number, right, of combinations they potentially have with 7 characters. And but I understand both sides of that, right? Like the person that did that is a turd. That's the nicest way I can say that, right?
Yes, I agree.
You're an absolute turd. However, on the other side of that, I understand people getting, butthurt about it and stuff like that. However, you got to look at both sides. If you're involved in something massive like this, you have to understand you're also open to mean people. And you can't let it totally rock your world. That may have been your grandmother's ashes that you put a Trackable on. Well, as soon as you did that, you brought that item into this game, and it's open for exposure. Not that it's right. The person, whoever did that, is a complete turd, and he did it just to be mean. Just like people that steal Trackables and that steal caches and trash them and everything else. Mm-hmm. They're completely mean. However, you have to know that if you're dealing with people, mean people are going to be out there included, right? Most overwhelmingly percentage or whatever you say of geocachers are awesome people.
Yes, I agree.
The game open to everybody. And I think that those incidents are why that Trackable number was taken off the main page, to stop the need for people, or the want for people to like run that number up. That's like running up your power trail number. Yeah. I've got more than you do. I can see it on your profile page. Now it's not a main stat. So I haven't heard any of those stories in a long time.
Sure. That's true.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of it, because you're open it to turds. I'm trying to use only good language right now.
No, you're right. We got you.
And I think, Jesse, I mean, I appreciate what you're saying on that one too, because it's just to me, and I don't know if you guys have ever had that experience when somebody shares a Trackable with you where it's not meant for a broad audience. It's not meant for everybody to get. It's either like close friends, people that they do like a certain type of event with, or they go out on that one. You know, it's almost like they're creating like something just for their close friends. So yeah, I totally hear you on that side, because for those people, but it's tricky because there's no way to authenticate it 100%. And I know, and I think you guys have probably had that experience too. I know one time with my car and license plate, I can't remember, somebody discovered it where there's no chance, we would have encountered them whatsoever. But it's tricky. It makes me think on here too, and I can't remember. Can you actually delete somebody's trackable log?
Yes,
I do believe you can. Yes.
If you own the trackable, if you own it, you can.
Yeah.
And
I think HQ can too. I think HQ can fix it, but Brian could answer that.
So there's so many questions in the chat room that we're not
I
even going to
know.
go to scratch the surface. I do want to bring up a few before we end, though.
Yeah, that's fine. And just a real quick note, we will do another trackable show. Not a code show, but we'll talk about trackables again down the road. But I feel like, well, I'll leave my comments to the end. But go ahead, Jesse.
So I'm only bringing these up because I'm just going to bring a couple of them up real quick, but there's so much more we should talk about with trackables. Tonight we ended up, I thought we were going to talk about the coins, the physical things, and we got more into the codes, right? Which is okay, because that's really where you're laying the foundation for the rest of this.
That was more what I was hoping for tonight. We can talk more about the others.
Yeah, there's just so much in it. It'll be like, okay, so here's the next day. Said, do you put your geocoins in your wheel? At first, that sounds like a joke. However,
that's interesting.
That's not. You who says they're not obsessed, you always say, I'm not very obsessed with geocoins. Okay, but you have hundreds. They're not $1 a piece. They're usually at least $10 to $20. That's money. That's a couple $1,000s that you have sitting in there. And that may be something that, and we don't want to get morbid, right? But that may be something that your family would want, is like mementos of you, right? That's your collection of something. Some people have thousands of them. So that's actually an interesting and a point. At first I thought, oh, that's funny, but it's not actually that funny. And then Gadget Geocache says, duplicate trackables, proxy or recreated. There's a whole, I've been way down that road before. There's a whole stuff we can talk about that. Stolen trackables.
We'll cover that. Yeah.
Comedically huge trackables, like the bumper, the car bumper, the bowling pins,
bowling ball.
And that's funny too, because there was a time when we were going around and making these weird ones, and then we would sneak and leave them at somebody's event, like back and forth each other. And it was funny because we were stuck with them.
Save that for next show.
So it was funny, but and then being a cacher who loses a trackable. Anybody didn't want to admit they've done that. Liar. It happens.
For another show.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And then this is a whole nother thing. I have hosted a memoriam event where everyone brought an unactivated trackable, and the certificate partner brought destinations for each unactivated trackable that was launched. So the relaunching parties, or a different take on it like that. There's so much.
We'll definitely keep those. Yeah. Okay. Yep. GeoPoker, you basically bring an unactivated trackable. Those are all for a trackable show. This was more of a
just
code
so much
show.
about trackables. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so in fact, I'm going to rename the show and help our audio listeners out as well, because tonight I wanted to really know about the trackable code obsession. So we're going to do a full show on the trackable obsession. So.
And for a public service, Ryan once again has stepped up. He said you can all put his name in your will to leave him your trackables. So,
oh man,
he's going to take one for the team there.
That is so nice for Ryan.
Sure, he will.
And I love Happy Hodak's comment. He's dropped off a couple travel bugs on porches already. Happens to live just down the street from another cacher. And just a lighthearted narrative on this one. You got to watch out if you have a porch cache. Because I don't know if you guys ever heard the trackable toilet story, where somebody got a trackable toilet dropped off to their porch cache. They woke up first thing in the morning, opened up their front door, and there was a trackable toilet, like a full-size toilet.
I love it.
I know. So watch out if you have porch caches. Just saying.
Yes. We've all know about and Jesse remembers the days, and we talked about it afterward, but and I think and we talked about before the show, if you go to 14er, which was the first one and Jesse was involved in that mega, and that was my first mega. And we had just started the show, which, by the way, people are gonna say I'm obsessed with trackable codes, trackables. I am not, but I did create for that. I had done like 2 shows, but I had created a pin with a trackable code on it, and you can't give me because the same one behind me, so you can't kick me out of the show. But anyway, so the funny part about that, a real fast story, is I made these, and of course, what did people do? They grabbed the code.
grabbed
I was like,
Yeah.
no, you can't do that. That's my code. It is. So I would grab it back, and then I realized, oh, it's not a big deal. I can always grab it back.
Yep.
Anyway, go ahead.
Are we doing final thoughts? I'll go ahead and do mine then.
Yeah,
So-
let's do final thoughts. Just a quick note, and then we'll do final thoughts, and then John, you've got a little upcoming show notes.
Yep.
So if you want to do that kind of during your closing arguments, and I'll wrap up tonight. And so Jesse, start us off with some closing thoughts.
So I'll keep mine short because I could do a whole nother hour.
Well, we'll do another trackable
Closing
show.
thoughts on this, right? So
Yeah.
I think trackables are and we're talking about just the codes part right now. I'm talking about the
Yes.
physical items, right? So
Yes.
trackable codes are a whole nother part of the game. I've gone through all different phases of the game, and I'm going to go through all different other phases of the game, right? There's a lot to do with trackables. Now, I'm not currently trackable obsessed. There's other things that I'm into right now, but there has been a time where I've really pushed to see what you can do with trackables. It's just like caches. They have their own web page. There's a lot of stuff you can do with them. You can manipulate them quite a bit. You can use them as part of puzzles and where it goes and everything else. There's a lot to do with trackables. Only really short is your creativity. You can come up with a lot of stuff. That's the only thing that really stops you. There's so much you can do with it, just like you can link them to each other. There's a lot of things you can do just with your own trackables. Not even to scratch the surface of discovering other people's trackables, right?
Yes.
And really writing stories and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So I think while I'm not, again, outside or inside, I have a few hundred trackables, but I don't consider myself a trackable guy, right? Like I don't have tons like people that I do know that are.
Wait,
Except for one on
so
your
a guy
body.
with the tattoo is considering himself not a trackable
We
guy?
haven't even, and I wasn't even going to scratch the surface on that because I think the tattoo trackable thing is a whole different part of the game, right?
We'll throw that in somewhere else.
Definitely for another show. But I think it's an underutilized part of the game for the website part when you're talking about the numbers and things you can do with that. That's web pages. I host a lot of pictures for caches on some of my trackables.
Yes.
So I upload pictures to my trackables and use that as a link. Now they have a new way to do it, but back in the day I did it. I use those trackable pages for a lot of stuff and connections to a lot of people. And I think people really don't. And again, I'm just talking about the codes and stuff associated with that right now.
He is literally a trackable guy.
Okay, yes.
Absolutely.
In that sense, yes.
Sorry, keep going.
But I think it's an underutilized resource and part of the website that people could use a lot more and a lot more creative ways if they chose to. That's what I'll say about that. Separate from just discovering trackables or moving trackables, which is, we didn't really talk about moving trackables that much tonight either. So that's a whole
true.
different.
No, we'll get to that next time.
So anyway, that's kind of my thought. Next year I may be obsessed with it again, and it'll be something totally different show. But for now, it's not my current obsession.
Yeah, I hear you.
Hey, and Direwolf brings up a good point. Who gets Jesse's tattoo trackable in his will? I vote Ryan Semmel.
Oh,
So I'm pretty sure that the goal, I might have changed it now, but for the majority of the time I've had this tattoo, the goal on it was take me to Australia, and nobody has. So disappointed in the community.
Okay.
I know.
Really disappointed.
That's terrible that they haven't done that yet.
I know.
And Direwolf, no, your question was, well, no, you cannot do that because we can ban you from other shows. He's like, I want to share 10 codes. It's like, no, now the show's about over, but we have long memories, or at least John does and Jesse does, not me, but go ahead. All right, John,
Oh man.
wrap up your portion, my friend.
I appreciate this because I think, and I mean, spill the beans, they said, I think the infrastructure geocaching is underdeveloped on the trackable realm currently. And I'm with you. I think trackable is kind of one of those things. It's like the focus really hasn't been there primarily in the game for a while. And I really appreciate what Jesse, you were saying on that one, because there's so many elements of the game to bring it out. And it's funny because, looking at my Trackable, my watch list during the show, brought back a lot of really cool thoughts on here, for different ways to do it. And on here, I think, it's something that we definitely need to talk more about, because I feel like where's Trackables now versus where Trackables used to be, and what creative applications, because and we didn't even touch like Chad bounces like puzzle boxes he brings to events where you got to solve something cool, a cool puzzle. And then once you do that, you get a trackable code to then actually log it to then say you solve that puzzle box, but you can integrate them in puzzles. There's so many different applications out there. But yeah, I think it's one of those things. It's, hopefully a different show. And I got to admit, I lined up so many cool trackables I wanted to show during the show on this one. Because, coming back to Chris Mackey's point on this one, extension of people and extension of experiences. And to me, that is so cool to have those, in my inventory, in my collection, etc. from there. But one thing I do want to mention with an upcoming show, speaking of Bounce,
yes,
is on Tuesday, June 17th at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have the latest news on Cache Fest Hawaii. So we're going to have the Cache Fest crew on there, and they're going to be talking about a lot of cool things they're going to be doing there, including like the Gadget Academy. So this is one that if you're going to Cache Fest Hawaii, make sure you tune in to get that information. Or, if you just really want to hear about a really cool event going on, join Gadget Talk on Tuesday as well. It's going to be a pretty awesome time to hear about a lot of incredible things that they're doing, at the event. And including, onto that one too. And I don't have the graphic with me right now, but a really awesome volunteer coin too for people who, are going to be volunteering for Cache Fest.
Yeah.
So
very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. That was awesome. Yeah. And we are going to do, you wrapped up?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. I was going to make another joke or two. But I'll save those.
Okay.
Yeah, I think John touched on something that we can't touch on now, but the experience, the extension of experience, and the coins. There's a whole lot to say about, and Mackie is why you made me think about it.
Yeah,
but
Crystal. Yeah,
there are some ridiculously beautiful, well-made coins out there that mean a lot to a lot of people. But I see that as a total separate issue.
Yeah,
that's codes, right? There's some coins out there that I, in my collection, that I consider very valuable, not monetarily, but because it meant a lot to the person that made it.
The beautiful,
That's a whole different topic. I'd love to talk about it at some point, because I still one day want to make a coin, a family coin.
Yeah.
That has kind of changed over the year. Our design and idea and dream of that has changed. So, but that's totally separate.
Yeah.
Well, good point though is, and this is, I don't know if Chris is still on, but we need to, we'll work out a show, because I'd like to have Chris back on the show and to talk about your very comment there, which is about the beauty of geocoins, because there's some that are really, really nice. Yes. And Chris could probably tell us, Chris number one has so many beautiful coins that he's designed. But I think even, there he is. Thank you, sir.
Yes, he's here. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. I think though, there's what also would be good to do is when Chris is on for that, is I'd like to pick his brain and ask him. So prepare this, Chris, for when we have you on. The question is, because he gets commissioned to do coins and he does tremendous work, but I'd love to hear from Chris about the coin that he's never been able to make yet, that he would love to make.
Oh dear.
Wow.
Because he probably, he has 1,000, probably more than that. He probably has 1,000 different designs that he's done. But I'm sure in the back of his mind, he's like, nobody's asked me for this design. And I'm wondering if somebody would ever want whatever, fill in the blank. That's why I'm holding up tonight's trackable is a yellow sticky note Go ahead. You can discover it. Go
That
ahead.
could actually be kind of cool trackable, like a stack of sticky notes. That'd be kind of cool. Actually.
with like each sticky note being a different trackable code, right, Jesse?
Yeah.
And then
I'm
just
about
like
to
taking
throw
them off and
30,
being like,
30 numbers. Ready? Go.
yeah.
A whole pack of the. Yeah. Okay. All right. We're getting.
I got to do that next time. Next time we're at a place, Gary, and you got a hotel room, I'll take a trackable, and put it on all your stuff in the hotel room.
Yeah, that's great.
And then you'll be like, John, where did this go? And I'll be, Gary, there's a trackable code on it, man. You should know this.
That's right.
Yeah. So final thoughts from me real quick, and we'll wrap up the show, which is this was fun. I love talking about this. I think you've answered I think you guys in the chat room have fully answered my weird question about code obsession. So I appreciate that so much. I now understand the trackable. I don't fully understand I understand what you're saying. The going around to car. That's still, to me, I know I understand what you're saying with that. I guess I understand it. I don't fully understand it, but I see your point.
Yeah.
I see I understand your explanation. Does that make sense?
It's not your thing, but you see why somebody else may want to be into it.
Yeah, I understand your explanation for it. So
and I think about geocaching too. One of those things, right? Like if you're explaining like caching to people for the first time and being like, okay, so I'm going out in the middle of nowhere with the flashlight, looking to find these things and to find a geocache. How many people that do that and they don't get that their first time, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
And then they do it and they're like, oh my God, that is awesome. I want to do that again.
Yeah.
But, I think that's the thing with geocaching is like people have to try these things to experience them, to soak them in, to see what kind of value they have for their own experiences.
Yeah.
And, that's the part I think where it's kind of a leap of faith at times and a little nutsy. But once you do that, I mean, you may find something that you really, really, really like and really find great.
See, there's obsession right there. Direwolf. That's pretty funny. Who says oh, yeah, you're right. We might have.
Just because he didn't find it didn't mean we didn't hide it.
Exactly. In fact, we've hidden one in every show. So you need to go back and watch every show. There's a different code in every show. Not really.
Yeah.
We're not going to make you.
I was hoping somebody was going to log all mine in my background too.
Yeah, there was a comment about your background that was pretty funny. All right, let's wrap up. I guess my only other comment was we're going to do a trackable show, and I appreciate everybody who was on tonight, and hopefully they had fun as we talked about the craziness. And
Happy Father's Day again.
Yeah, happy Father's Day,
everyone.
And Gary, is that the show where we're only going to provide the link to people who discover the trackable? Is that the one that you were talking about?
That actually, I like that idea. We can do that.
We can do that.
We can absolutely do that.
It's sort of like Jurassic Park. We can do it, but should we do it?
How cool would that be? And then the people that join the show are eligible to win some exclusive trackables. Just saying.
That's right.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to go away some trackables. Oh, last comment is don't forget Jasmine Loop 4. I don't know. I know who I'm talking to because they're gonna just collect dust. But throw them in the corner.
Oh man, those are gonna sell out ASAP, I'm sure.
People don't remember, people may not realize this, but these all are paid for by us. Money has left our account to pay for these stupid Loop 4 coins, and they're just going to sit in my very
There'll be a day in the future, Gary, where you're going to be so happy that you got one of those coins.
Yeah.
You're not there yet, but there will be a day in the future where you're like, thank goodness I got that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just got to give a shout out on here because so Jim Starkcasher Stark was saying to Reese 486, Seneca County, Ohio, look for Tiffin, Ohio.
Ooh.
Pizza Ninja showed the Pizza Trail coin. So the cool thing is if you do this, the Seneca Pizza Trail on here, number one, I mean, it's an awesome time. It is a blast. Do it with your friends. but you can get this cool coin, and you can also get a cool T-shirt, out of it too, and a whole bunch of delicious pizza. So,
Nice.
if you haven't done it, great opportunity to do it, and it's kind of cool because the coin actually the slice pops out too.
Ooh, the slice comes out.
Yeah, so
Very cool.
really cool.
Yep. Thanks, Jim. That's cool. All right, we're done. More show about trackables in the future. And thanks, everyone. Good night. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
May your finds be many, and your DNFs be few. May the terrain and difficulty both be less than 2. And whatever it is you're looking for, may it find its way to you. And may we all meet again.
Folks, we hope you've enjoyed the show tonight. Please email us your comment at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The show can be found on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Public, or Spotify, as well as at the Geocache Talk website. Don't forget to click that subscribe button below and ring that bell notification so that you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. And tell your friends about the show. Get them involved with us in the chat room. And until next week, don't just talk about geocaching, go geocaching.